Marvel Phase 4 has finally been announced, and I was just actually at the Marvel Hall H panel yesterday. I just got back from San Diego Comic-Con. It was a blast and a really fun time, and I'm definitely going to be making a lot of coverage videos, after post-coverage videos, for the whole con, and a couple different things that talk about either the panels and Marvel Phase 4, of course. What I wanted to do today was kind of rank all the Marvel Phase 4 films that they announced, and how excited I am, how some I'm kind of a little bit iffy on, and in general, this is my way of talking about each and every one. Now, I want to preface this before we get any further in this ranking, though. You guys must know that I will not be including Blade or any of the other smaller elements that they posted in there. Blade is not included into Phase 4. Kevin Feige made that very precise. This is going to be a Phase 5 film. I do think we're going to see him in Phase 4, and I'll mention where, but if Blade wasn't here, that would be my number one thing, because that was the one moment that I screamed of excitement just like everyone else did. And of course, I won't be talking about Fantastic Four, The Mutants, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, or even Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of that just because they didn't really mention where those were at, and I'm assuming most of those will be Phase 5, except for Spider-Man. The reason they didn't talk about Spider-Man is because that is a Sony film, and Sony will announce when that is coming out, but they already have a release date for 2021, so I'm assuming that's going to be Spider-Man. But without further ado, guys, make sure to comment down below and let me know what your ranking is, but let's get into this ranking. My number 10 is the What If series. Now, the thing is, I'm actually quite excited about every single thing they had announced, but my thing about this What If series, even though they announced quite a few cast members are going to be coming back to reprise their roles in this animated form, I didn't see what the animation is going to look like. And I'm a big animation fan, and that's kind of where I'm a little bit skeptical on this whole thing. It's a really cool idea in the way that they're going to take certain stories that they could particularly take. I mean, these are kind of one-off stories that maybe happen in the comics, or maybe just new iterations that they want to form. Say Peggy Carter getting the super serum instead of Captain America. That's going to be cool one. I'm assuming they're probably going to end up doing that if they haven't already announced it. But the thing is about this, and of course, we're getting Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher, which is perfect casting, and I really hope we get him in like a live action as the Watcher, because that would be awesome. Or if they want to cast him as Professor X, that would be amazing as well. But the thing about the series, again, is it goes down to the animation. I need to see what the animation is going to look like. I don't believe it'll look cheap. That's not kind of why I'm frankly not excited about it. I am quite excited about this, but I'm still skeptical on it because I need to see what the full product is going to look like. So that's my number 10. Coming into my number 9 is going to be Loki. Now, I love the character of Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston. I can't get enough of this guy in that role. But I don't know enough of this series. There's a cool thing that's taking place after Endgame. It's going to be about the Loki that disappeared with that Tesseract afterwards, and where did he go? Well, of course, Tom Hiddleston showed up at the Hall H panel, and that was the first place that Loki did go to that they were talking about, but it's going to go through different time that I'm assuming. I think it's going to be kind of a time travel series, and I'm just wondering how this is going to intersect into the whole universe. I assume that this is going to be quite a fun series to watch, but I just don't get how it's going to be intersected into this whole MCU, and I'm kind of one of those people that really like how they further out the world more than just kind of having fun with these characters. It's not bad to have fun with the characters, but that's kind of what this Loki series seems to be. Coming into my number 8 is WandaVision. Now, WandaVision, I just need to see what the series is about. It's absolutely casted a lot of great people, mentioning that we're going to get some new characters that we've seen before. Of course, Lieutenant Trouble is coming here as an older version of her and intersecting finally into the superhero role that she is meant to be. And of course, we're getting Scarlet Witch and Vision. Still don't know how that whole thing's happening since this does take place after Endgame, but they said that this is going to be easily the strangest series that they have done to date. And from the music, the 60s vibe that the logo and in general the music they were playing with throughout the whole panel, it's kind of interesting. And for this whole series, actually, the way that I kind of look at the series and the way that I think it's going to intersect into the MCU is really furthering out Scarlet Witch's loss of Vision and just her loss in general of her brother Quicksilver, and just how she's mourning the loss of this and everything that happens after Endgame, and where does she kind of go next. I think she's going to kind of create an alternate reality with her and Vision, and kind of that's her way of mourning the loss. Will actually intersect into another movie that will be later on this list. Coming in at my number 7 is going to be Hawkeye. Now, I am dying to see this series, but it's just down there because they didn't really give much to it. We know that Kate Bishop's going to show up in it. Thank God. I'm really excited to see him train her. And I still have a theory that the next Avengers film will not be a full-blown Avengers film. It'll be more about the young Avengers, say a Spider-Man, Kate Bishop, and sorts of those kind of crew, which will be kind of nice, intersected with probably some of the older crews, like maybe a Jeremy Renner or even maybe Professor Hulk. But the thing is that I hope that they adapt this Hawkeye series a little bit from his apartment complex miniseries that he did in the comics. I think it's a really nice, genuine way to kind of intersect that in here. The logo's fine, but Jeremy Renner's excitement and just seeing Hawkeye, I think this is a character that really didn't get the benefits of from a movie. He did have some good moments, especially towards the later half and especially in Endgame, and they did say that they are going to go more into Ronan's backstory, and I'm assuming we're going to get some cutscenes of when he was Ronan, which I'm all for. You know, my number 6 is going to be ShangChi. Now, I'm so pumped for this film due to the fact that this is from the director who did Short Term 12. That is an excellent film. It's on Amazon Prime. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. This guy's a great director, but the thing about ShangChi is that they're kind of describing this as a kung fu master of the arts film, and it's kind of going to be a throwback to those kung fu movies. I'm for that. I also really like that they're bringing in the Mandarin. They've been hinting at it. They showed a whole montage of every single place that they've hinted at the 10 rings before. Some in very prominent places, some in very small locations that I never realized before. But bringing in the actual Mandarin to be the villain of this, it's nice to see that Marvel's finally accepting that. And I actually think, weirdly enough, that this film will actually elevate Iron Man 3 just a bit because of the whole Mandarin twist that they had in here. And I feel like they're going to tie that into this just a little bit, since, of course, now we are getting the real Mandarin, which will be really cool to see what that guy does. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings is definitely one of the films to look out for, and if you don't know who Shang-Chi is, look up some comics on him. I mean, my number 5 is going to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, this is easily my most anticipated series coming to Disney+. Big reason because of Falcon and Winter Soldier. They have probably the best chemistry and banter right now that is kind of in the MCU of all the surviving members that survived Endgame. Not disregarding Groot and Rocket, but of course they are the human characters on Earth, and just kind of this spy espionage feel that they're kind of going for these characters. It's going to be nice to see Falcon in the Captain America costume, or his version of it, him kicking ass with the shield, and after the events of Endgame are going to be nice. The big plus for this, though, is that they are bringing back Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo, and I thought he's one of the most underrated villains inside the Marvel Universe so far, and the fact that they're bringing back this villain to intersect into here, and the fact is they had him kind of a little video pop up on the screen and no one else got to see it, but what happens is he pulled down the mask right at the end and Baron Zemo is officially getting his mask, which just freaked out everyone, but it really looks like they're doubling down and kind of having a lot of fun with this series, and this looks to kind of be one of those series that furthers out these characters a little bit more while also having a bit of fun and having a great villain to it. You know, my number 4 is going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I've been dying for another Doctor Strange film. In fact, I love Doctor Strange. All the whiles be. I think Doctor Strange is one of the most underrated origin films in the MCU. Everything with the mystical arts is so much fun, and Benedict Cumberbatch just steals the show. And the way that Kevin Feige talks about this is, yes, Quentin Beck might have lied about the multiverse, but that doesn't mean that it's not out there. They've already mentioned it in the first Doctor Strange. Now we're going to go double down on it even more. And Scott Derrickson talks about how this is going to be truly a horror film. I don't know how they're talking about that, but they're also intersecting and bringing Scarlet Witch after the events of WandaVision inside this series. That gets me a little bit more excited because now we're going to get to see kind of that aftermath of WandaVision, maybe where her character is. She's going to be one of the main protagonists. Nightmare is going to be the villain of this series, and overall Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is just a madness crazy title to have on here. It totally feels cheesy, but it works for this character, and I'm all for this and all the dynamics that they could easily bring inside Doctor Strange. And I do have 2 quick predictions for this, and if you guys agree with this prediction, let me know down below. I have a feeling Blade will have a cameo in here. I think this is the main film that they could easily intersect Blade in here in just a small cameo role and introduce us to Marsha Ali's Blade. Come on, Blade is a vampire and Doctor Strange deals with all the mystical stuff, so that could work. I also do think that if it's not the Eternals that does it, I think this is a film that could easily talk about and intersect mutants from maybe a different multiverse. One character in particular I'm talking about is Deadpool. I think this is a way that you could intersect Deadpool as well. I don't know if that's their plan. I don't know what they're doing with the character, but I think that's one way to do it for sure. Before we get any further on this ranking, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys are new here, I do tons of early movie reviews like this and other sorts of rankings, even more like this too. Talking and discussing all sorts of geeky content is my favorite thing to do, and I love when you guys comment down below as well. So comment down below and let me know what your ranking is. Hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure to go over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early. You know, my number 3 is going to be Thor Love and Thunder, which is crazy that this is so high because I was not the biggest fan of Thor Ragnarok. If you guys have seen my ranking, you guys can definitely see why. I don't think it's not an entertaining film. It definitely is a very entertaining film, and I think Taika Waititi is one of the best directors working today. He has his style. His style is great. It's not style over substance. It's style mixed with greatness. And even though Thor Ragnarok didn't personally work for me, What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People are some of the best films of the last couple of years, plus Jojo Rabbit this year sounds to just be amazing. But Thor Love and Thunder actually has me quite a bit excited. One of the things is he's directing this, but actually writing this script. So I think some of the issues that I have with a lot of the improv improv from Ragnarok that didn't really fit in there for me is kind of going to elevate this movie to a new level. Even though I know there's going to be a little bit of improv in there, I think Taika's own story that he's kind of wrapped around, he can make a fun Thor adventure while furthering some of these characters, because one of the things they're bringing in here is, yes, Tessa Thompson is back as Valkyrie, yes, Korg will be back, and of course Chris Hemsworth is back as Thor, but the big surprise is when he said that, yes, I was reading the comic Mighty Thor, and of course the one thing I wanted to bring in here is female Thor, and Natalie Portman walks right off the stage, Best Actresses working today in Hollywood, and I've always really wanted her to have more to do in the MCU. I think some people were a little bit sour on her coming back. They're like, oh, she doesn't want to do these. She wasn't the best in the first two, but we also have to remember, I don't think the script that she was given for the first two were really the best. And I think after seeing Ragnarok for her, she probably was like, hey, this is a new spin on the character, a little bit more fun, not as dark and brooding as the first two are, and maybe that's kind of what pulled her into this. And I think with Taika's direction, as much as he re-infueled energy inside the Thor franchise, I think he's going to do it again within Thor Love and Thunder, which is again a crazy title, but I think it also brought in Natalie Portman, who she's going to get more to do as Lady Thor, and I'm quite excited about that. I think some people are going to kind of be diverse on that, but I'm excited. I trust Taika on this one, and especially when he writes the script, that's what gets me excited. Coming in at my number 2 is going to be Black Widow. Now, I think Black Widow is super high up for me because I saw the trailer. I saw the footage. That's really what sold me on this series, because for me, I've never seen what the director's done. I definitely like the cast. You got David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, freaking Black Widow herself's coming back, Scarlett Johansson, and of course Florence Pugh playing Black Widow's sister in here. Gets me quite a bit excited about it. But the thing is, I think this is a little bit of a too late syndrome. They should have done this film quite a bit ago, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, we killed you off in Endgame, but we're going to give you a solo film. It's okay. It's a prequel, and it takes place after Civil War. We're also doing flashbacks to Budapest. Still curious to how all that works, but again, the trailer is what sold me on this film. If you love Winter Soldier, I think Black Widow is going to be the film for you. Because even though I don't know anything that the director's done, and definitely the scriptwriter hasn't really been versed in a lot of these action films, it's that trailer that sold me. Because this film has the feel of the Winter Soldier while also being a little bit more gritty and brutal than maybe even the Winter Soldier. Happened to show us quite a bit of a trailer, but they also showed a fight scene between her and Florence Pugh, and the brutality that they had in here, the intenseness of it, the fight choreograph in there was kind of John Wick level, if I'm being honest. Of course, they did announce that Taskmaster will be the villain, and Taskmaster truly is one of my favorite villains inside the MCU comics that I've definitely been wanting to get to a live action state, and I think there's going to be some twists and turns with that character. Just from seeing the trailer, I'm like, this isn't kind of the Taskmaster that I know, but I kind of dig this new vibe that they're going for it. And of course, we do get them fighting in the trailer, Black Widow, Taskmaster. It's a great fight scene, and again, that's kind of what sells me on this. The character reveals of David Harbour's character kind of being the anti-Captain America for the Soviet Union's kind of cool, and I'm excited to see where that goes as well. Coming in at my number 1 is The Eternals. Now, if you guys have not seen the film that Chloe directed before this, it is definitely a film that you guys definitely have to see, because that film really touched on the emotional level and personal level that families, friends, and kind of just in general, I think that's what she's going to get so well, because the Eternals is kind of just a big family. I don't know much about the comics, to be honest. This is one of the few comic properties I don't know much about, but I'm so excited about it because just like Guardians of the Galaxy, even though I knew a lot more about them when they were announced, it's one of those properties that's so different that I'm curious to see what is there to it. Plus, you have an excellent cast. I mean, you look at Richard Madden, you look at Kumail Nanjiani, you look at Angelina Jolie is in a fucking Marvel movie, and you also get Salma Hayek, plus a wide variety of other characters, and there's even rumors that Keanu Reeves might be in here. For all I know, I don't know if that's true, but there was also rumors that there's other characters that could also be in here, and other actors that haven't even been casted yet. The Eternals is the film that I'm most excited for within this phase. While we don't know anything about it, I just know the logo, I know who's kind of going to be in it, and I know the director on board. It's easily the thing that I'm most excited for through phase 4, and I'm so pumped to get this new adventure with the Eternals. That's going to be my ranking of all the Marvel Phase 4 films that are ranked, and kind of just my excitement in general. This is my easiest way that I could kind of go through and talk about them in such an organized manner. Make sure, guys, to comment down below. Hit me up on Twitter at Pope the King. I tweet about a bunch of early movie reviews, and if you guys missed my live tweeting of all San Diego Comic-Con coverage, you guys definitely missed out. I posted a bunch of pictures. Go check it out. Go to my Instagram, and also, guys, make sure to go over to Sam Shung Films on how you guys can see films early. I'll make sure to catch you guys later, so until next time, stay classy.